one thing that I'm noticing as I'm deepening my Jewish learning is that we have a very interesting tension in Judaism, and I guess in Israelism as well, between paradigms that we are used to, ideas that we just continue with, and the courage to change them. Courage, creativity, and vision. You know, we say at the end of the Rosh Hashanah prayers, we say, תכלה שנה וקללותיה, תחל שנה וברכותיה. Let the curses of last year end and the blessings of next year's begin. But it doesn't mean that these blessings will just come and the curses will just go away. It is a call for action. And I'm thinking about the classic seder that we have on Rosh Hashanah. I know some of us learned pretty recently that there is such a thing, a Rosh Hashanah seder. It's a Mizrahi tradition that is so loved and now very, very common. And these seders were created when Jews were very much a minority and where Jews were very much weak and had very little agency. So the idea of eating things that symbolically help us basically fulfill our wishes and fantasies is very, very common. For example, we eat dates. Dates in Hebrew is tamar, and there's a wordplay, sheitamu son'enu, let our enemies end. But because Jewish tradition also invites us again and again and again to question our traditions, a lot of us actually try to create symbols that are not about violence, that are not about negative messages, that are about positive, about how do we change our mindset as a people, especially that we now have a Jewish sovereignty. How do we think as a majority, as a sovereign, and not as a victim? So, for example, if you eat a tamar and you say sheitamu, so many people just change it. We can change it. We can say, what do we want to end? I'm asking you.
The war.
The war. Shetitam hamilchama. Let the war end. So easy, so intuitive, and so important when we are thinking about how we want to wire ourselves and our children and the next generation, when we think of us Jewish people having power, when we have agency to really design our future. Another very, very common symbol is the round challah, right? I was in an event yesterday when there were round challahs all over, and I asked, how did you get a round challah 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah? And I was told the very, very hidden secret how. I'm not going to tell you. But what is the reason behind the round challah?
Continuity of life. Everybody.
It's about the cycle of life. It's about the cycle of the calendar. And New Year is beginning. And New Year is beginning. This is the powerful part of what we have in our tradition. We have a lot of rituals, and they all come back again and again and again every year. Those rituals are the same, but they are different because we are different. We come back to each ritual a bit different, and because the ritual is the same, we ask ourselves, are we thinking about this differently right now? So when we think about the cycle of the year, of the rituals, of time, we know that not everything needs to be cyclical. We have to understand that not everything repeats itself. We have a paradigm in our culture, and definitely in the time that we have a sovereignty in the Middle East, that violence and peace are a cycle, that it will always be there. It will always get back to that. Yes, we're talking about peace, but violence will come back. Yes, it is violent, but then we're going to talk peace. And we are so used to living this vicious cycle, sometimes we're not even aware that we are able to break that cycle. It is not around challah. It doesn't have to be around challah. We can have a sweet round challah and still acknowledge the fact that we have the agency to break the cycle of violence, of death, of occupation, of just giving away our agency. So as we are going to sit for Rosh Hashanah seder, I really invite you to take each and every symbol, the round challah, the pomegranate. Some people eat leeks, some people eat green bean. And it is very interesting to look at the wordplay, and it's tricky because it's from Aramaic to Hebrew to English. So it's like an intellectual exercise. But come up with something positive. Let's come up with things that will inspire us to take ownership on our own destiny and say, we want peace. We can make peace. We can make the year full of blessings because we are going to break the cycles that we're so used to. We are going to create new ones that are positive, that are really about looking at the next generation that is running around here and saying, we did everything we can in order to have a secure, just, and peaceful future. Shana Tovah, everyone, and let's hope for a year full of blessings.